morning, Pastor Steve here. Hebrews 11:27 and 28. By faith he, speaking of Moses, forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. By faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. As we saw last time, Moses had put it in B for boogie and headed out to the desert. I said that he was running from trouble but headed toward God and his best plan. As he ran, he knew God was there because it says he ran by faith. Recall that God showed up in a burning bush and set Moses back on his haunches, and as he entered into a life in a real and powerful way. Even in the face of a direct contact with God, he was afraid. I get that. He was asked to go back and face his former playmate, tell him it was time for the biggest El Al flight out of Egypt ever. Moses was going to leave Egypt, but this time with an entourage of several million souls. Pharaoh kept promising to let God's people go, and remember he promised and then he'd renege on the promise. And finally, there was that one horrible plague that tipped the scales, and Pharaoh was more than willing to thrust God's people out. On that first Passover, God killed the firstborn of his enemies to save his children. That's powerful indeed. But thousands of years later, on another Passover, God, the merciful judge, killed his own firstborn son to save his enemies. Romans 5:8, God showed his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. All we have to do is receive him when he calls us in our hearts. Have you received that gift by faith? You can, and it will make you entirely whole. You ponder that, Pastor Steve.